Several years ago, I did a lot of research into the Sachs family genealogy, and along the way I came across quite a few very interesting characters. One of them I'd like to tell you about, my grandfather. Perhaps you heard of him. He was a well-known jazz musician of his day. His name was Tenor Sachs. And yes, he did have a brother named Alto. He was born in 1875 in the little Pennsylvania Dutch town of Wedlock. Well, actually, he was born a little out of wedlock. He lived to be 97, and all that time he never needed glasses. Never needed glasses. Drank right out of the bottle. As a matter of fact, he drank 2 martinis every adult day of his life. And the only reason he died was because he got a bad olive. But when he was cremated, for 3 days, the fire would not go out. He had a bit of a mean streak about him. One time he went to the library with a hammer and flattened out the braille.
Oh.
Another time he stapled worms to the ground so the robins would get a hernia. But God punished him. He had 2 wooden legs, and one day they caught fire and he burned to the ground. But he made his mark as an inventor. He invented an alarm clock that didn't ring for people that want to sleep late. He stayed up nights trying to develop a cure for insomnia. Then he came up with a flow-through parachute that opens on impact. Hey, don't laugh, the Pentagon ordered 10,000 of them. And the very day after Alexander Graham Bell invented the payphone, my grandfather invented the slug. But his greatest invention was an all-electric car you could drive from New York to California for only $2.77, plus $5,000 for the extension cord. He was also something of an aviation pioneer, the world's first baggage clerk. He's the guy that lost Charles Lindbergh's luggage. He told him it would be on the next flight. And he gave me some very good information about those telltale signs, how you tell when you're getting old. First of all, when you realize that all the phone numbers in your little black book are doctors. Or if you're walking by a cemetery and 2 guys with shovels start to dig fast.
Oh, God.
If your social security number is 2. If you realize that the only thing that's holding you together is static cling. But the worst thing of all, the worst thing that could happen to you is when your daughter says to your son-in-law, "Take Dad out into the garage, we got company coming in 10 minutes. Well. See this watch? My grandfather, on his deathbed, sold me this watch. Well, when he finally died, we wanted to do something different. We didn't have a wake. We had a surprise autopsy. It was a catered affair. The main feature was a life-size replica of the deceased in potato salad. He was such a modest man, my grandfather. At the funeral, his hearse followed all the other cars. But I'll tell you one thing. When I die, I want to die just like my grandfather did, peacefully and quietly in his sleep. Not screaming and shouting like the passengers in his car. Well, I want to close now by telling you that this act has been closed captioned for the comedy impaired. So then.
Thank you very much.
Yay.